Hello, I'm Nohidaya, and the presentation will be on evaluation of lignin-degrading enzymes by thermophilic Bacillus SPS11Y isolated from oil palm empty fruit bunch. The graph shows the consumption of energy in Malaysia every 10 years. The small percentage is from the use of coal and electricity, while petroleum makes the biggest energy consumption for 1995, 2005, and 2015. Fossil fuels are causing climate changes from the emission of greenhouse gases. It also depleted over the years and so increased the need for renewable and sustainable energy source. The alternative source is lignocellulose seed biomass as it is abundant, inexpensive, economically and environmentally friendly. Oil palm is a more abundant source of plantation residue than rubber, cocoa, wood, timber and pepper in Malaysia. It is also sustainable in production because of the long economic lifespan plus the governmental policies and initiatives which become the key factors responsible for the massive production of this crop in Malaysia. The first pie chart shows Malaysia as the second largest producer of palm oil after Indonesia worldwide. The second pie chart shows the 86% biomass resource are from oil palm while the municipal solid waste, rice straw and husk and wood residues only make up a small percentage of biomass resource. The plantation area has increased from 54,000 hectares in 1960 to 5.81 million hectares in 2017. In 2020, Malaysia accounted for 25.8% and 34% of world palm oil and exports respectively. The third figure shows the oil palm biomass consisting of fiber, kernel shell and empty fruit bunch. Kernel shells and fiber are burned in a boiler to generate steam and electricity for mill operation. The empty fruit bunch is dumped at the mill without a proper treatment or brought to the plantation for mulching and incineration. However, this may create environmental pollution because incineration releases gases with particulates such as tar, and the dumping may cause the additional emission of methane into the atmosphere. Thus, the main solid waste from the palm oil milling process is the empty fruit bunch to be focused on. Empty fruit bunch primarily consists of lignocellulosic materials such as cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. The higher the lignin composition, the more expensive the pre-treatment would get, and so the empty fruit bunch is suitable as it is the lowest. Cellulose and hemicellulose are polysaccharides that are easily hydrolyzed into fermentable sugars, while lignin is a complex heteropolymer composed of non-fermentable phenylpropane units linked by various types of carbon-to-carbon and ether linkage that makes it difficult to break down. The complex structure of the lignin is the major obstacle to the utilization of the empty fruit bunch biomass as a feedstock for carbon-based fuels, chemicals, and biomaterial production. But today, lignin is intensively studied as one of the most promising biorefinery platform candidates that could be used for aromatic chemical production and energy supplementation. Thus, the Bacillus SPS11Y were experimented with two types of lignin, D-alkaline lignin and lignosulfonate, to see its activity. The detailed figure of lignocellulose show the biosynthetic precursors composed of three phenylpropanoid units p-coumaryl, coniferyl and synapyl alcohol containing 0, 1 and 2 methyl group respectively. They form a randomly cross-linked macromolecule with different interunitary linkage by various oxidative coupling reactions. There are two problem statements. The first is the difficulty of producing energy from biomass waste because of the complex lignin. Lignin is very difficult to biologically degrade because of its irregular matrix structure and lack of a standard repeating covalent bond. Cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin are packed closely through covalent and non-covalent interactions in a crisscross network. For the first problem statement, the pre-treatment is important to decompose the mix of lignin and hemicellulose and expand the active contact surface between cellulose and enzyme. The pre-treatment methods include physical, chemical, and biological. Physical and chemical pre-treatment used for disintegration of lignocellulose are energy demanding and use chemicals which could negatively affect the environment. However, biological pretreatment is an environmentally friendly method and is chosen. Why biological pretreatment? It is conducted under milder environmental conditions and does not involve acid, alkali, or any reactive species. Since this pretreatment is conducted under mild conditions, it requires lower energy input and the byproduct would not inhibit the hydrolysis process. There is no need for chemical recovery because no chemicals were employed. Therefore, biological pretreatment can maximize the lignin removal and break the cellulose crystalline structure in order to make it more accessible to the attack of enzymes or microorganisms. This concludes the biological pretreatment more efficient and less costly than with no hazardous impact on the ambient environment. The second problem statement is white root fungi are more common lignin-degrading microorganisms, but it have limitations compared to bacteria. Microorganisms, including fungi and bacteria, both are known for their ability to convert high molecular weight compounds in the substrate into lower mass compounds via oxidative process. The difference is that the white root fungi has been used extensively in research because of its powerful lignin-degrading enzyme system. However, it is not stable in practical treatment under extreme environmental and substrate conditions, and fungal enzyme may be costly to produce and difficult to optimize. It can produce ligninolytic enzyme to decompose lignin, but the drawback is that the rate of decomposition is slow. Thus, the ligninolytic bacteria were investigated because lignin-degrading bacteria have wider tolerance of temperature, pH, and oxygen limitation than fungi. Thus, they have immense environmental adaptability and biochemical versatility. Bacteria have multi-enzyme production with increased functionality and higher tolerance to environmental stress. It is also reported to be able to use low molecular weight lignin as the sole source of carbon and energy. This ability indicates that the bacteria have many unique and specific enzymes that catalyze the production of various useful compounds. Plus, bacteria are more cost efficient than fungal enzymes due to its less robust in terms of thermal and pH stabilities. For the experiment, there are three objectives. The first is to evaluate the ability of isolated bacteria in delignification process. To achieve the first objective is to analyze the growth curve. The Bacillus sp S11y was grown in Lurea botanisoli agar medium to produce large amount of bacillus. Then it was cultivated onto D-alkali lignin medium and lignosulfonate medium. Both lignin differs from natural lignin, however it has been widely used as an experimental lignin for microbial degradation studies. The results show that the aerobic bacteria strains S11y capable of effectively degrading synthetic lignin and utilizing it as a sole carbon source. The growth is fastest on lignosulfonate agar medium than D-alkaline lignin. To further analyze it correctly, the Bacillus sp S11y was cultivated in both lignin broth. The analysis is using optical density as a lower biomass inferring a lower OD600 reading is more reliable. Different instruments will give different OD values for the same sample. Why optical density? First, it is light scattering as a factor of turbidity. The degree of light scattering depending on biomass is better than the bacteria number because distinct bacteria types vary in size. Second is that the turbidity measurement of microbial cultures is a widely used method to determine the cell number of growing microorganisms in a culture. The determination of the turbidity of a microbial sample should be carried out in the same photometer. Table and graph showed the higher bacterial growth in lignosulfonate than the D-alkaline lignin. For both lignin, on day 1, the low lignin degradation rate is caused by the low growth rate for both of the media because of lack of adaptation on cultures. On day 2, it experienced a lag phase due to the physiological adaptation. On day 3, the decline in culture growth rate may be due to the inhibitory effect of some low molecular weight lignin fragments. Then in day 4, mark the increase in optical density value growth and call it as the exponential phase. The lignosulfonate medium record OD of 620 nanometer, which revealed that strain S11Y reached maximum growth at day 4. Day 5 of the alkaline lignin medium record the stationary phase where growth is balanced by an equal number of bacteria dying. Day 5 of lignosulfonate showed the exponential death phase. Day 6 of both lignin showed the death phase, which is characterized by a net loss of culturable cells. The rate of bacterial death is usually slower than the rate of growth during the exponential phase. The second objective is to identify possible enzymes secreted by the bacteria for the degradation of lignin. For that, the Bacillus sp.S11y activity is tested. For both types of lignin, there is zero activity of di-decolorizing peroxidase. Bacteria in the lignosulfonate medium recorded considerably higher lactase and lignin peroxidase activity than the dialkaline. This similarity with fungi where there are presence of lignin peroxidase and lactase but no di-decolorizing peroxidase proves that the bacteria can act as fungi did in the extensive research of fungi delignification. Lactase is generated from phenoloxidase and is implicated in lignifications. Lactase is efficient in oxidizing lignin-related phenolic and non-phenolic compounds and highly recalcitrant environmental pollutants, making them profitable for the utilization of different biotechnological processes. Plus, it increases fermentability of lignocellulosic materials. And so the result for the lignosulfonate activity being higher is true due to the less complexity than the dialkaline lignin. Lignin peroxidase, compared to the others, has great redox potential. Only few white root fungi synthesize lignin peroxidase, but Bacillus S11y recorded the lignin peroxidase activity. The high activity indicates that the lignosulfonate lignin has higher phenolic lignin-related compounds oxidized by high lignin peroxidase, while the alkaline lignin has low phenolic lignin-related compounds. The next objective is to analyze the draft genome sequence contained in the bacteria. The draft genome sequencing is using the RAS database. Below is the listed genome sequencing, including the superoxide dismutase. It is an enzyme that helps break down potentially harmful oxygen molecules in cells. The lactase-like multi-copper oxidase from fungi also is detected in Bacillus S11y. It is a versatile enzyme used as biocatalyst performing the oxidation of different substrates of industrial relevance. That's all from me. Thank you.